Hello, Vermont. I'm Andy Julo.
And I'm Joanna Grossman.
And this is There's No A in Creemee.
Vermont politics, culture, and beyond.
Thanks for joining us.
Hello and welcome. Why do I clap? It's not so helpful.
That's hard to,
Hello and welcome to There's No A in Creemee. How you doing, Andy?
I'm doing good. I feel like clapping.
We have very pretty new boom stands.
Yes.
Yeah.
The set is really coming together. We have these colorful boom stands. If you're watching, yours is hot pink.
Yeah.
Mine is white.
Yeah.
We had a lot of options, so we had to kind of pick the ones we want. It matches our logo nicely. We got the pink and the white.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love them.
It's vanilla and heart of rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah.
Oh, there's white sprinkles too. So
yeah, that's true. It's got a creamy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know what a boom stand was when we started this,
yeah,
but it's really, these are slick and fancy, and we're moving up in the world.
We needed them.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. They won't creak. So you may have heard us adjusting our boom stands in the past. These are silent. You won't hear that horrible racket anymore.
It does feel like a luxury that I could touch the boom stand and move the mic without wrecking that moment in the podcast.
Yeah.
That's does
and
feel luxurious.
A setting where it will immediately go up. You can tap it and it goes straight up.
Whoa.
So if we just want to go in full on fight, what did you just say to me? We can just tap them up and do that.
Awesome. So we have options.
Yes.
Yay.
Options are good.
Options are good. Andy, you have rejoined the class of elected officials.
Yeah, I was on the ballot yesterday.
You were on the ballot
for town meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, just uncontested, but for town moderator in North Hero. So if you go back to episode 1,
which you have to do,
which is a good episode, still a good episode.
Yeah, it's so good.
And me talking about town meeting and maybe being a little disparaging of the old man up there at the podium. Telling long stories and obscure quotes and maybe taking it a little too seriously. That old man is now me.
It's just mazel tov. Congratulations. Rite of passage.
It's the end of my youth.
Yeah. Are you going to take up birding now?
Do I have to?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the exact bylaws are with if you join AARP, what the situation is.
I don't know. I don't know. The Denny's closed, so I can't go there anymore.
Sorry.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
So we just had a really wonderful episode with Ryan McLaren, getting a lot of really great feedback on it.
Yeah, people really appreciated it. A lot of people hadn't heard of Ryan and listened to the interview and had liked what he had to say. I did get some feedback of when he having, Molly Gray on for her full episode. They were worried we slighted her because we covered her launch and then we maybe didn't cover her. But we are scheduling that, and we're going to have Molly on for a full episode. The plan was we'd go to Ryan's launch, we'd go to Molly's launch, and we'd have each of them on. And we got sick for Ryan's launch. So we had to miss that one.
Yeah. I was wicked sick, but
you were sick. I wasn't.
Yeah, Andy survived. But I will say that Molly did an amazing episode with us in maybe September, and it was a full episode about her work at the Afghan Alliance, and it was a really wonderful interview. And then we did get to cover her launch also. Yeah.
It's kind of an inspiring interview.
Oh, it was so great.
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked it. And so she is also a friend of the show, and we are excited to interview her about the campaign too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad you flagged that. Yeah, we've had, we're excited to have more, candidates on in the future. We've got a lot of people reaching out. We're really excited about that, getting into some issues coming up too.
Yeah, we've got a good schedule coming up, and we've got a good segment today. We have a big announcement.
We do.
Someone here on the podcast.
It's true. It's pretty exciting.
So we won't leave you hanging.
Yep.
Let's roll into that segment.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. We have a big announcement here on There's No A in Creemee.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. It is not coming from me.
That's right.
It is coming from Joanna.
Okay, folks. So this is real. This is not a drill. I am running for Vermont State Senate in the Chittenden Southeast District. And I'm really excited to be sharing this with our podcast listeners. I love Vermont. I'm a Vermonter by choice. And, having come here has really been an extraordinary experience for us. And I think one of the things that I love so much about Vermont is we just have really extraordinary policies that take care of each other. We're all about taking care of each other. And we have programs like Dr. Dinosaur, which has been really important to my own family. We protect reproductive rights, shield laws, gender affirming care. Now we're showing up for our neighbors to prevent them from being illegally detained from ICE. We care about each other and we show up for each other. And I got to tell you, those things are all amazing and special. But they're no good for our kids if our kids can't afford to stay here in Vermont, if they can't be here to take advantage of all of that we've worked so hard to create for them. And, over the past few years, really, I've been talking with folks all over the district, parents, grandparents, reps, select board members, school board members, all kinds of local leaders. And, what I've been hearing really loud and clear is that so many of us have a 30-year-old kid in their basement because they can't afford to stay here and find a path forward to survive and thrive here. I can't tell you how many families have told me their kid left Vermont because they couldn't afford to stay here. And I want Isa, my kiddo, to be able to stay here if they want. And we need to be able to create a path forward for the next generation, not to mention this generation. A lot of Vermonters are really currently struggling, and we need to be able to find a pathway forward for them. And I really want to be able to leverage all the relationships I've built at the municipal level and the state level to really build a team and, regional alignment on these kinds of issues. My family has one house and one car, and I want to make sure families like ours are represented and that we're creating space for people like us in Vermont. So, I'm running for Vermont State Senate.
Good for you. It's an adventure. And
you would know.
I do know. I know. It's a difficult thing to ask of an individual, and it's something that we need more people to do. And we've been talking about it for a few years. As long as I've known you, we've been talking about the importance of running for office.
Yeah.
And
although it's never something I wanted to do myself.
No, I was surprised that evolution came around. I just always thought of you as the campaign manager. But
yeah. That always felt like the right role for me until pretty recently.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So I have some questions for you. I get to flip the table. So you get to be my guest, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people may be listening to this and wondering, what does this mean for the podcast?
Yeah.
And we want to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Address that first and foremost.
Yeah.
That this isn't going to change the podcast.
Absolutely.
And this is not going to become a podcast about Joanna's campaign.
Yes. This is not going to be my personal campaign platform.
No,
We're just not.
We thought it would be kind of fun to just cover the mechanics.
Demystify campaigning.
As much as we can of campaigning, because there's a whole rhythm to it and things you go through as a candidate and experience that a lot of people don't know. Yeah. And it's kind of important to know. It's difficult. I was standing at the polls yesterday with someone running for select board. Yeah. And it was so nice when people would come by and just look at everybody and say, thank you for stepping up and doing this. Because we need more of that. Because it is hard to run for office. Yeah. And we need to recognize that there may be candidates we don't agree with. That's the point, right? Yeah. For this to work, a number of candidates need to pop up, and we need to have conversations, and you decide who you agree with, and then you vote for them.
Yeah. I mean, I loved being a campaign manager because I loved being able to help people through that process and support them. I mean, also, I loved being a campaign manager. And one of the reasons I stepped into party leadership was specifically because there were so many down ballot candidates who couldn't afford to hire a campaign manager. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to help them out. And I loved doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do think it would be really fun to use the podcast to demystify the process a little bit. And win or lose, if other people learn a little bit about campaigning through my journey, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. 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 So we'll do a little bit of that, but we'll still have guests on. We've got plenty of other statewide candidates that are running. Mm-hmm. We have some episodes coming up about healthcare and housing. Yeah. Some really exciting conversations that I'm looking forward to. So all that'll happen. Yeah. We'll still be opinionated people, as we always have been. And real. Yeah, take us or leave us for that. Yeah. But yeah, it won't change the podcast. This episode, we're gonna talk about your candidacy and why you decided to run. Yeah. And then we probably won't circle back to that specifically from here on out.
Right. That's right. Nice. Yeah. I'm Andy's guest now.
Joanna Grossman. My first question for you is, you have been a campaign manager for a really long time, and you love that job.
I loved it.
What made you want to step from behind the campaign manager clipboard into the candidate's spotlight?
I mean, so many things, but also like not any one thing in particular. It was kind of like a really long journey. So like, I mean, I've been involved with campaigns. I worked for Indivisible for 2 election cycles. And then I started my campaign services agency here in Vermont because I had friends here who were like, hey, we need help here in Vermont. And I loved that work.
You were early in on Indivisible.
Yes, that's right. So I worked for Indivisible in the early days. And actually, I was working there when we took the country back from Trump. And I'm really hoping we'll do that again. And so, then I started getting involved in campaign management, more specifically up here in Vermont. And I never, like, when you work on that many campaigns, people ask you all the time, like, when are you going to run? When are you going to run? And I always said, never. I never want to run. And I totally meant that. And I really felt that like really deep in my core. I was like, no, like, I think my candidates are crazy. Like, they're amazing, wonderful people, and I want to support them, but I don't want to do that. And that really started to change, I would say, maybe about a year ago, a little over a year ago, when I started watching the cohort that came in after we lost in the 2024, after we lost 26 seats in the Vermont legislature, and seeing the changes in how issues were being handled in the state house, not just by the folks we lost to, but also by the Democratic caucuses themselves. And it was hard to watch how education policy specifically was handled. I really didn't like how Act 73 was forced through by so many Democrats. That just didn't feel right to me. It felt fast and like there hadn't been enough public input, and like it simply wasn't student-centric, family-centric policy. It just didn't make sense to me. Like, we've taken more public input on changes to parks in Burlington than got to go in through that law. And Phoenix Books hired me to fight Amazon. And as you know, we won our first round with them, which was really exciting. But it also really opened my eyes to how vulnerable small businesses are in Vermont to the literal oligarchy. Like, we have an oligarchy now. We have these big companies that are like helping Trump build a ballroom. It's crazy. And our little businesses aren't protected. There's not a lot of folks who are really fighting for them. And I really want to step up and do that. And I feel like, I know a ton of things we could be doing, but it does take a little bit of courage. But it's really important right now to claim Vermont's economic independence, because if we don't, we are just so vulnerable to fascism. It's really scary. So that's a long answer.
No, that's what politicians do, right?
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
I first got to know you just a little bit before you became my campaign manager. You were the chair of Chittenden County Dems.
Right.
And my district was Chittenden County. It was called the Grand Isle District, but it touched on a lot of Chittenden County. And you quickly found me, and you seem to be kind of everywhere in the county talking to people in that role.
Yeah,
I take it very seriously. What lessons have you taken from that to apply to this run?
Oh, being county chair was like amazing and torture at the same time. But I have always had this sort of like camp counselor, organizer, like streak in me where I was like, okay, like, we've got 19 municipalities in the county. I'm going to get to know all our town chairs and all our reps, and I'm going to get us all together, and we're going to help each other. And we did do a lot of that. But what I learned is that this was not like a blast email situation. It meant like meeting people in their town and having coffee or a beer like in their place. And when I first started to realize that, I was a little bit like, oh, wow, that's going to be a lot. But it was like so rewarding every time. And it really taught me how invaluable those peer-to-peer conversations are like in real life. And getting to know all these like select board members and school board members and town chairs and local activists, even small business owners, all especially for the Amazon campaign. It's just been incredibly rewarding and revealing. And it's an incredibly diverse county. And I just love seeing all the different little parts of it. And I don't know if that answers your question.
I don't remember what my question was, so it could have. I don't know.
But it's been fun, and I've loved getting to know all the I've
it's
met
a huge
folks.
county.
Yeah.
That's your Senate district would not be that entirety of that district.
It wouldn't be.
County, yeah.
So for example, I really took Milton under my wing. I loved Milton, and that's not going to be in my Senate district, but I still have a real, soft spot for them. But getting to know the folks in Shelburne, or I got to know folks in Heinsberg, all over the county, folks I didn't, know, places I didn't visit before that are just inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you wanted to take a little break from that, and very quickly ended up not as an organizer for political parties, but fighting the Amazon facility in Essex through your job at Phoenix Books.
Yeah.
What did you take from that experience? What are you seeing that Vermont businesses are not getting for support that they desperately need? And I think if a lot of people are wondering, they see you, they're like, that woman looks very familiar. Yeah. It's probably because you've been on TV a million times with these Amazon stories.
Yeah. So I'll tell a little bit of the story for listeners who may not have been listening back then. So I had my campaign services agency for a while, and yours was the last campaign that I ran through that brand. And then after our race, I felt all right, I need to do something a little bit different. And I was looking around, and I got in touch with Phoenix Books, and I've known them for a while, and my family knows the store well. And I really had in my head that I would just be a bookseller, working on the floor. I've done that before, and I think it's a cool gig. And so I reached out to them, and they were kind of like, "Oh, you're available?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they told me that Amazon was planning this enormous same-day delivery facility, spitting distance from their Essex store. And they said they wanted someone to run a campaign to fight them. And I was like, where do I sign? It just was they were like, we thought you wanted to do something different. And I was like, no, I want to do this. And it was
your
cool.
5-minute break.
Yeah, that's right. It really was it just spoke to me so deeply. Yeah. My husband and I met working in a bookstore, and he's an author, and my kid is a voracious reader. And it's just we're definitely part of the literary scene. And so that was really exciting. And what I learned from that, it was cool because I got to know all these little shops and businesses all over the county and see the world through their eyes and how vulnerable they are and how they've oh my God. They've just they've taken on so much risk to create something new that is a third space for our community, often something that brings joy to people, it makes our communities beautiful. I think about Church Street or, so many of the little strips around the county that are just have this charming little, Jericho with Ale and Bean, or Shelburne and Flying Pig Books. Obviously, I like bookstores, but I like other kinds of shops too. And they just really beautify the community, and they are really vulnerable because Amazon could still just pop up anywhere. And with a same-day delivery environment, a lot of people could really change their behavior. And I really feel it's the state's responsibility to show up for our businesses. And we've got Amazon, supporting ICE, and we've got our little local businesses paying their property taxes, sponsoring our Little League teams, sponsoring our pride parades. We've got to show up for them and get their backs.
Yeah, I think we've all been to places where every block is the same. It's the same chain stores you go, right? And the really cool places, if you think about in the world, are where we have independent stores everywhere.
Yeah.
And Vermont has that going.
Yeah.
But they don't get a tremendous amount of support. There aren't a lot of programs to really help small businesses grow and thrive in Vermont.
There aren't. And there's what really surprised me, there are a lot of business and business adjacent trade organizations, but there's no one that's really aligned around supporting small retail.
Right.
And there are a ton of small retailers in Vermont, and they really do need support.
Yeah, that's something we wish we could do more of in the RDC world, but it's just, it's not our lane.
Yeah.
All right, you've been a candidate for about 16 minutes now.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to your former candidates that you have managed at this point?
So much.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
So, I mean, listeners who heard last week's episode with Ryan might want to re-listen to one part of that conversation and it'll click into focus. But yeah, I'm sorry to you.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Chris, Ben, everybody. Like, I'm just like, it is so hilarious. Like, I totally thought I like knew everything and that I was super supportive and I got it. And like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is like, feels really exposed and vulnerable. And it's really hard to not take things personally. And I have to like, it's really hard to like pull my candidate hat off and think, okay, if I was my campaign manager, what would I be saying to myself?
Yeah.
That's like not easy to do.
No.
Yeah.
It's a giant data collection. So like if you have a bad interaction as a candidate and you tell your campaign manager that, they're like, okay, so check them off as not supportive.
Right.
But like, yeah. As a candidate, you're like, this person really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, right?
Yeah, but they hate me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's, you have to not internalize it. And so, yeah, I would always say to my candidates, it's not personal. It has nothing to do with you.
It was good advice. It really was.
Yeah, but it is.
But I'll take your apology.
Good. I'm glad. And I hope everybody else does too. I mean, not just my client candidates, like so many candidates. Yeah. And it's really different. And I feel grateful to all of you really for showing me it's possible.
So listeners to this podcast, we've talked a lot about Act 73. You've expressed some concerns about forced consolidation, but let's not take that for granted. So we want to talk a little bit about some of the concerns you have around the consolidation plans that have come out so far.
Yeah, I have major concerns about it. I mean, as I said earlier, I feel like there was not adequate input into that. I also, a lot of school districts in Chittenden County have already consolidated fairly recently and are really, reeling from the prospect that now they have to do it again when they feel like they've really done the work. But there's really so much more there. I mean, the idea, even outside of the county, like the idea of closing rural schools when we know already, like we need to have more folks moving to Vermont to meet our workforce shortage. I just don't really understand why we're saying, yeah, we need you to move here, but we're going to close your school or we're going to take it over. That's not a welcome message to new families. It's the opposite. And they also have to deal with, these staggering housing prices. So it's like, why are we making it as hard as possible for families to want to move here? I really don't understand that. And I also feel like the messaging from the administration on this, I felt like has been dishonest. And that is frustrating because, they sent out mailers saying that Act 73 is going to lower your property taxes. But that is not proven. There's no data to support that. And the Education Redistricting Task Force that came out of Act 73 published a report that said exactly that moving around district lines is not going to lower property taxes. One of the really great things that came out of 73 was the report from the Department of Tax that showed that second homeowners tax actually could do that. So if we're going to talk about, lowering taxes, we should be real about how we can really fill the education fund and how we can do that. The other thing, one of the other big findings from that report, and we've talked about this before, is taking down healthcare costs. So I feel like, why are we wasting time gaslighting and pretending one thing's going to work when we need to get down to business on lowering healthcare costs? So I feel like at the end of the day, students and families want to know that their communities are making education policy that has their best interest at heart. I do not want the state legislature getting, bogged up in local education issues. That seems nuts. This is a community-based issue. We need to put families and students first.
So our last campaign was a general election. So we were up against a Republican, and that's sort of easy to draw that contrast. You're going to be in a primary.
Yeah.
And primaries are about the direction of the party.
Yes.
And you have lived this movie for the last several years. You've been a leader in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's right.
How are we doing as a party?
This is hard to say. It's usually something I say, one-on-one, and I usually get a lot of agreement on it, but the Democratic Party is lost. It's so lost, and it's been so hard to watch. And the reason that I stepped up into leadership was because I wanted to fix it so badly. I mean, I heard from so many friends and people feeling like you telling me, great people who wanted to run for office or want to get involved in campaigns or just be a part of democratic values. They wanted to have a place in the party, right? So I was like, all right, I'm going to run for county chair. And I did. And I managed to win. And, I did my best during that time, but pushing us forward was really hard. There is an incredible amount of entrenchment in protecting the status quo. Howard Dean called it an incumbency protection agency on our show, right?
He did.
Yeah, and that's not what this is about. And I really believe in primaries and that if nothing else, it forces the conversation, right? We should be talking about what we want our elected leaders to be standing for. And if that is the only thing that comes from me running, I'm really okay with that. And I just think I think it's great for people to be getting into primaries. And I've been telling people that for years. I've had so many potential when I had my agency, I had so many candidates come to me and say, I want to run, but I'm waiting for an open seat. And it just broke my heart every time. I said, just run, And so I'm glad I get a chance to walk the walk.
Who do you want to bring back into the Democratic Party? Who would you target? Young people, middle class? And who are we missing that we need to be reaching?
Oh my God. It's totally lame to say everybody, but that's what I feel in my heart. The way the party works for folks who aren't aware is that every other fall, we have something called reorganization. We call it reorg for short. And reorg is when we elect the party leaders at the local, county, and state level. And I wanted people in Chittenden County to really show up for our reorg so we could get some new blood in. And so I texted 10,000 voters in the county and talked to them about the Democratic Party a little bit and encouraged them to show up. And I've never seen so many Democrats angry at a Democratic leader texting them. I've done a lot of Democratic engagement texting, and I've never seen anything like that. And it was a lot of folks who felt left behind. A lot of folks who felt like they couldn't afford, like I said before, they had a kid who couldn't afford to stay in Vermont, or they felt like their demographic wasn't supported. A lot of working class folks who, I would hear a lot of folks saying, oh, I used to be a Democrat, but I left the party. That's always a little bit heartbreaking. Yeah. And I just really want to make sure that we're not, this is hard to say too, but I don't want to be just the party of the elites. And I think that is the perception right now. And I appreciate Democratic donors. Thank you for supporting democratic values, but we need to be supporting, vulnerable folks, people who are really struggling to make ends meet here, folks who feel like they're being pushed out, folks who are vulnerable, and that there are people like that in every single corner of this county.
So you're in a district that has 3 incumbents. The Chittenden Central District had 3 incumbents as well, and we had two candidates come out. Then we have since had one of those incumbents decide not to run. Yeah. So there's an open seat there. We don't know what will happen in your district, but if you are running against 3 incumbents who decide to run again, some people might say that contested primaries represent that the party is in chaos. What would you say to that?
The only way out is through. I just think that the Democratic Party is struggling, and to pretend it's not isn't doing anyone any favors. And it's certainly not doing the party any favors. It's not doing Vermonters any favors. I don't even think it really does the incumbents any favors. I mean, the Democratic Party is lost, and it is struggling to find its identity, and having primaries gives us an opportunity to work that out in a way that's civil, that we get to have, that's what democracy is, right? We get to have these leadership conversations and transitions in a civil and respectful way, ideally. That's what democracy is all about. And I mean, I do think it's kind of cool that I get to kind of catalyze or facilitate that process. I'm proud of that. And it's nothing personal against the incumbents at all. I mean, I feel like I'm running against the status quo and for the next generation. I really feel like we need to pave the way for the next generation to survive and thrive here. And we're just not doing that.
What most excites you about running?
Oh my God. I can't wait to get on doors. I can't wait to really talk to voters. I spent a lot of this time, that I've known, but it hasn't been public, talking to a lot of the insiders. And I know you all listen to this podcast, no offense, you're all great. You've given me amazing advice and support, and I really appreciate that. But I really want to get out on doors and talk to voters who aren't insiders and find out a little bit more about what they need and how I can support them.
What's the scary part?
All of it.
All of it. Yeah.
The emotional risk involved is scary.
Yeah.
That's the thing I think I'm the most scared of is just the idea of it's a lot different that it's my name.
Yeah.
But it's becoming less scary by the day.
Nice.
And it's becoming more exciting. And I'm just really grateful to everyone who's been supportive so far. And I can't wait to talk to every single one of you. And if someone's listening and you want to learn more, feel free to get in touch.
Joanna Grossman, what is your Creemee order?
Oh my gosh.
I think I know what this is, but I couldn't say with 100% certainty.
It's funny. I kind of forgot that I would have to answer that question.
It's a hard question because Lauren Maloney asked us when we were on.
Yeah.
Yes. What happened this week? And I froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm freezing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of a pun there, but it wasn't unintentional.
Pun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. My Creemee order. Well, as you know, I'm extremely fond of Mr. Creemee right here on Pine Street.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Have you mentioned this on the...
1,000 times.
Right.
But there's lots of other Creemee stands around the district, and I really hope to hit all of them during the campaign. But, okay. I really they do this coffee and... Wait, was it coffee and maple?
That's what you told me.
Yeah, it was coffee and maple, but it's weird. Now I'm wait, it wasn't coffee and chocolate, was it? But no, it was coffee and maple. And I like sprinkles, and I do like the chocolate. Oh yeah, it was. I do like the chocolate sprinkles for the flavor profile, but I really like the rainbow because they're so pretty. So it's I've gotten both.
Right.
So I have to have sprinkles, but I could go either way on which sprinkles.
Team Sprinkles.
Team Sprinkles, get it in a cone. And I can really house a Creemee now. I've really had quite a journey.
Yeah, you've done pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one I really like.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about it.
You do better when I'm not watching, evidently.
But were you? Oh, no, that was with my in-laws. It wasn't with you.
No, I've yet to see you eat one 100% clean, but you were pretty close last time we went out. A few trips.
I did a really good job last time.
Sure.
Yeah. I did. I'm really proud of it.
I believe you.
I feel like my Creemee consumption is going to be really well documented the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll be able to hold me to it.
Yes. Well, it's, you eat a lot of bad food on a campaign. Something you got to watch.
Oh, I thought you meant me personally because, as you know, my eating habits are wretched.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
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 Well, Joanna Grossman, thanks for joining us on your own podcast.
Yeah.
And really, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you for stepping out and taking this on because it's a difficult journey, but it's a good one, as you know. I'm
really excited. Thanks for interviewing me.
Of course.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode.
Thank you all for listening.
Follow us between episodes for the latest updates on our socials at There's No A in Creemee on Instagram, Substack, and Blue Sky.
And catch us on our next episode of There's No A in Creemee, Vermont Politics, Culture, and Beyond in Apple Podcasts and Spotify.